Hello everyone. So yesterday's session, you all might have gone through map and other topics which we discussed. Today, in this topic, we will discuss about generic and we will go further from there. Uh, so since I don't have any PPT or presentation and I am not a trainer, so I never prepare any PPT, right? So we will go to Java doc for generic and then from there we will uh, discuss about generic and then I will explain about generic with few examples. So I googled it. Let me share my screen first. Okay. So my screen is visible to your right. So let's go for Java doc, generic, you know. Always refer Java doc, you will find the latest update if there is any update on that particular content. So the Java tutorial have been written for JDK 8 Enterprise. This is what the headline is saying. So JDK 24 is released, right? So let's see if JDK 24 has any document on generic. Let's go here. API documentation. No, always if you have anything you want to know something or you want to uh, learn something or you want to see any update of Java, always get into documentation, right? So here we will search, go back, we will search generic. There will be not much change in generics. Generics came into picture to help developers, where it is sessions generic October 29, 2024. This is what they have generic here. So let's talk about generic and then we'll go in deep with some program and some sample program, some examples which I will explain. Yeah, the same document only. JDK 8, they have just updated it in Java 24. There is nothing more. To maximize the screen, it might be very small. Yeah. So JDK 5 actually got they have introduced generic in JDK 5. Here also it is written the same thing. JDK 5 introduced several new extensions of the Java programming language. One of these is the introduction of generic. JDK 5 is one major version of changes where they had many extensions they added to the Java programming language. One of them is generic. Generic, what does it does? I have explained even map few of the examples that we give the diamond symbol lesser than greater than symbol and we write class name inside that. What does it does when you write class name inside that? It specifies that class or that kind of data type which you are defining there that is specific to the class which is defined in the less than and greater than symbol or diamond symbol, right? So this, what it does, it is always compile time so that you will not get confused. That you will not get confused while writing the code during runtime. After compilation of the bytecode you got, or you are going to get that bytecode will not have the implementation of this generic. I will do one thing. I will compile on the Java file and I will show you the bytecode, converting that dot class file into Java code. You will see there will be no generic in that particular Java code, right? We will do it before getting into the program, or right, or trying to do some examples, right? Before that, I will show it to you. So that is the one use of generic in case of collections. There are so many other use of generic is also available. Generics allow you to abstract our types. It allows you to abstract our types. The most example commons are container types such as the collection hierarchy. That is why I shown you some examples. I will show you some more examples, not only with collection but with something else, right? So there is something called templates that also will do. If you see the example here, what they have given, list integer. This is the they are showing it the same way, right? The implementation. So here they have given some example and they're saying how to do it and what is the benefit. I will read that one error here. If you see the line number, the cast on line number three is slightly annoying. The cast here, line number three is slightly annoying. Typically, the programmer knows what kind of data has been placed into particular list. However, the cast is essential. The compiler can only guarantee that an object will be returned by the iterator. To ensure the assignment to a variable type integer is type safe, the cast is required, right? So you want to assign make it type safe. Thread safe is different. Type safe is different. Type safe is basically the data type what we are expecting it should return that kind of data type, and to make that sure we always do a downcast or we always cast it to that particular type, right? So here what happen in case of generic, if you use generic you do not record to cast by default it will return integer. If you see these lines, list, my list, linked list, integer 0, and here you see these lines all are same, right? What is the difference? In first case, list my linked list, new linked list. In second case, list integer my int list, new linked list integer. So here they have added generic with less than greater than symbol, and you know while retrieving in last line, line number three, while retrieving, if you see there is no integer, there is no downcast or no casting, or not required to do any types of it will automatically take care of that casting, right? So this is how they have explained it here. You can always look into all these examples from the Java doc. Whatever I have explained you in previous sessions, you always can go to the Java doc and find the information about the particular generics and all other stuff, right? The Java doc is always, they will give you the actual implementation. That's what I did while implementing while implementing the hash code, to string and equals method or compare to or compare method, right? We went to the Java code, the existing or the comparable interface or comparator interface, and we read the method description, right? That is also Java doc, where we see the method and we read the method description. That is also Java doc. You can always read from there, or you can always go to docs.oracle.com and find the Java edition, which your Java compiler edition or Java edition you are looking into. Accordingly, you can create the document, or you can just not create. Accordingly, you can read the document. So see, here is another simple example. I am going to tell you today this. Here is another small excerpt from the definition of the interface list and iterator in package Java util. Prefer public interface list E, list E. Then add EX, iterator E, iterator E. You see here public interface iterator E, E nest, has nest. This E is what actually, this is kind of the generic definition, right? The code should all be similar except for the stop of angle brackets. Those are the declaration of the formal type parameters of the interface list and iterator. Type parameter can be used through the generic declaration, pretty much where you would use ordinary through there are some important restrictions. See the section fine print. So if you read the Java doc, easily you will be able to find the contract or the rules or protocol defined to use generics. Like earlier we found some rules, right, for hashcode method, for equals method, transitive, symmetric, non-null or null, whatever the contract we identified. So here also the same thing. You will be able to read, you identify all the contract what they have given. If I miss something, if you read it from here, you will have more information along with my information. If I miss something, we'll have some more added information, right? See, here also list string, ls, new array list, this string. This is implemented, right? So this string, he is saying, let's test your understanding of generic. Is the following code snippet legal? Can you tell me is the following code snippet is legal? One number is legal or not? list object hello ls 2. Two number is legal or not? One number, line one, is certainly legal. The ticker part of the question, line number two. This boiled down to the question is a list of string, a list of object. Most people instinctively answer sure. Well, to take a look at the next few lines. Hello dot add new object, line number three. That hello is what? Hello in hello generic is defined as super type or parent type from the Java object. And string s equal to s ls dot s dot get to zero. Attempt to assign an object to a string. Right? You are attempting to assign an object. Here we have alias ls and hello. The variable or the alias term means the variable name ls or hello. Accessing ls, a list of string through the alias hello. Right? Here what happened, first one is a string. That is legally very correct. And second one, what you did, list object, hello. And what you did, you assigned ls to that, right? However, we have ls this assessing. We can, using ls, hello, assessing ls, list of string to the ls, hello. So what happened in hello, you are trying to access list of string from the hello because it is alias to ls whatever ls the memory reference hello is referring the same memory reference ls is referring, right? Because we assigned ls to hello, or the code is assigning ls to hello. We can insert arbitrary object into it. As a result, ls doesn't hold just string anymore, right? See, since list generic type is object for hello, you can insert whatever you want into the hello, and it doesn't only hold string, it holds other object also. And when we try and get something out of it, we get the root surprise, root surprise. That's what they are saying here. The Java compiler will prevent this from happening. Of course, line 2 will cause a compile time error. Line 2 will cause a compile time error. In general, if who subtype, the compile time error, why? I will go with that same example. So let me start a sample example of generic and show you. I will see if I have done in my previous somewhere. My Git code also might have some generic examples. I will take if it is there. Okay. Hmm, I guess collection, right? I need to expand this comparator, delegate, example, set example, student has code. Okay, here I have to find where I've written. Let's do something new. Okay, let's implement. Here beautifully I have done uh, something I have done here. I will show you 1 second. Yeah, I think this one. Here, I have written an external queue. Already you have a queue method. I have written one external queue. See here, ET template. I will tell you by this example also how to implement generic in this type. So first, Let's go for that. What we started reading, and then we will go into this a little. And when I was talking about Java doc, see yesterday I opened this tree set class, right? So in Eclipse, when you open tree set card, this is tree set class. So you get the Java doc of tree set. You get the Java doc of tree set, tree set class. You go to the method starting, a class starting, you read this content, you will find what tree set is doing. And then you read the comment or the description written about the methods. You will able to identify what it is doing or the constructor. Similarly, if you see this class, right? This class compared to class. In compared to class, we have also what we did. Here also we read this documentation, whatever it is. See, at the rate code, x dot compare and as this is written so that this Java doc will be better when you read it in a document file. For example, let's go to main set, or let's go to employee. We have overwritten this compare to method, right? Let's go to compare to and just point your mouse pointer there. You will get the proper Java doc what you have in comparable class. See, everything will come here. You can read it from here, right? So this is what Eclipse is going to help you. Not only Eclipse, any Java editor use, they will have these features. They will pull the document, Java documentation from that particular class for that method and will be able to read it in a better way, right? Here also you see that contract is written. Sign num x dot compared to y equal to minus sign num y dot compared to x, right? This is how this Java doc. You can read it from the Eclipse. You can read it from by visiting that class file, or you can also read from the browser accessing docs.oracle.java, right? Or sorry, docs.oracle. What is that? Com and Java SE standard edition, right? So this is how. And let's go to our class now. We'll create some generic package and we'll continue from there. So let me go to generic. I will close all of them right here. What we have, close up, right? So I will go here. Oh, I'm going to create a package. I click on the class. I can do, okay, let me show another way of doing this. New other, even if you click class, right? Here you saw it is showing the package. What you can do, com dot example dot, you can write generics, right? You can write the package and then you can go there down and then you can write the class name. Let's say main generic. The main, why I'm writing always in front of a main set, main set, main map. I'm trying to represent that is the main class for map. That is the main class for list. That is the main class for set. Now it is main class for generics. That is what I am trying to represent, by writing this so that anyone see this code, they'll be able to understand this. This is an main class which is holding some example of generics, right? Okay, so it started here, right? Main method. See, I will explain many things here. I will, since I am sitting idle, I don't have any job. I'm still applying for job and uploading every day some maybe minimum one video, right? So slowly I'm going to finish Java and then I'm going to uh, put all other technology which can be integrated together to develop a application, right? Maybe web application, and then later, if possible, how that web application can be accessed from mobile or from other places, other devices. That also I will try to show you if possible. Anyway, so I'm trying to find a job. Let me see how it's almost more than yes, it's almost few years. I'm looking for job. Not sure. So let's start with that example, right? It is a very good example he has given, which I have not explained earlier. I'm defining here string, Java util string, right? And here also they are defining that E. What is that E? That will come. I will tell you, don't worry. So list, here I will define you are a list. You are a list string. And what I will do, list, let me create it, object, right? Equal to object list, let's say. Object equal to list. See what happened now. As the documentation said, it is going to give you compile time error. It is giving a compile time error. Type mismatch. Cannot convert from list string to list object. Right? So basically you cannot assign it. But what happened in case of non-generic? If I don't have any generic here, what will happen? If I don't have any generic here, see, that is what they're trying to explain. You can assign like this. But let's say object list is going to hold some object. It is not going to hold only string. It is going to hold some object. How you are going to identify which is string, which is object? That is what they are trying to say in the documentation. So that is the reason why generic came into picture. So let me show you one example here. Let me show you one example. So in first list dot add I will add a string here. Okay. And second, object dot list. Object list dot add. What happened? Something. So what happened? Something wrong. Okay, I have given the capital also. Object list add. Object list dot add. As I said, I will add one string here. Let's say my wife is Madhu. I'll add here. Huh? His short name is Madhu, full name is Madhusmita Sahu. So object list dot add. I added a string. Now in object list dot always I'm writing capital. Right? Always I'm writing capital in the top of front. Okay, object list dot add. What I will do? New employee. I will add here employee. I'll take it from the our class com.example.collection package. We have one employee, right? I will create it here. Created one object. And in this object, what I will do? I will set just ID here, for better understanding in future. But it is saying it is doing some error. The method add object in the type list is not applicable for the argument void. Okay, fine. Let's see. Let's only enter because we will get a two string for that object, right? Let's see. I just added this object now. I will iterate it. I will iterate this. I will iterate this object list, right? I will print this object. See, now we are downcasting it. I will print this object. What is this? System.out. Okay, so, okay, I'll print this object. Now, what all it is printing? Just check it. On visual compilation will print generic. I have some issue here. Ah, okay. Some unnecessary input was there. See, Satya, Madhu, both the string got print. Now, okay, cannot parse non-string. Where it is coming? It is coming from employer. Let's see what is there. Okay. So see what we are doing. We are trying to print. We're trying to do a long dot to hex string. So always that's why I said always you should implement your equals method, toString method, hashcode method in such a way that it will not throw any error. So what I will do, I'll do this is not equal to null, right? Inside this I will do is not equal to null, and if this dot get id is not equal to null, because I'm creating an object, I'm not setting any value, you know, and this dot get id is it is not empty and not null. Then set that value, right? Here question mark. Then this dot set that value. Get ID. Then follow. Otherwise, what we will do, we'll pass some random number. Math. That is one class java.lang.math. That package we will take math dot random. We'll pass. We are doing it long dot to string, right? So we will We'll do this. It is returning double two. We'll make it long dot value of, right? Long dot value of. We'll, we'll make that random to long dot value of. Now let me get this down. Okay. Let me get this down. Let me put it like it. Long dot value of this long dot value of long dot parse one method which will convert this uh, double to. Okay, so we can do like this. We can directly cast it rather doing this. We'll cast it. It is coming as we'll cast it to the value of string. This is after casting. What we'll do? We'll make it because this is this random is basically a double. So we have to make it string. String dot value hub, and we'll make it pass it here. This is for this value of right. So math dot random I'm passing it to string dot value of, right, and then long dot 2x string. So we're making it long dot 2x string. So rather long dot 2x string, let's see string dot 2x string is there. No, it is long dot 2 string is there. And now this math dot random is converted to string. But if it is a bigger number, it will throw again what? It will again throw the problem, parse, right? Parsing problem. So what we will do, we'll make it value of. We'll make it what? We'll make it long dot value of that string will pass there. Right? Long dot value of that string will pass. The method value of string. Now dot. Now when we're adding this much, let me write it from the beginning again. So many brackets and so many confusions. So what we did, we are doing only for long dot to string, long dot value of. We're checking for the ID. This dot get ID is not null. This dot get ID is empty. Then this dot not null and empty. Then set this dot get ID. If it is null and empty, what will pass? Will pass math dot random, right? Math dot random. This random should be a string value. So already we are doing long dot value of, so you not require to do it again. I was just a little bit, So what we will do here, we will make it string dot value of, and inside that will pass from math dot random. So math dot random will give a double value, and this will be converted to your string, and that will be used as double value. See, the java.lang.math random method is going to return as a double value, right? It will give some random number, generated number, and that will be assigned to the object. Somewhere something is broken. I think one more bracket or something have to be. Yes. So see, this toString method is done now. Let me go and run that generate. Because here I am passing null object, right? New become employee. I'm not setting any values. So that's why that was some error. So it is showing. Oh, this random number is no. This is creating trouble. This random number. Do we have anything random int or something? Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can find some method which will generate some random number. Or we can always pass some random static random number. Okay, for timing, I'll pass you some static random number rather having any method from the existing method, you know. Or you can have something also system dot I will pass system dot identity household, you know, and then we'll pass this as the system dot identity household. What does it does? Cannot convert this into string. And we will give some random number. Okay, no need of something random. We will give here all numbers here. I'm just having some number, random number. We are done, right? This to get ID, then some random number. What it is saying? System error on tokens. Delete these tokens. Somewhere comma is there or what? This random number is given. So if there is no ID, then it is random number will be used to generate the hash code. This is not a right implementation. This is not a right implementation. We should populate this. But for your case to show it, how it works, this employee you got it, right? So this is just an example. But when we are actually working in company, you have to implement your toString method in a proper way, equals method in a proper way. ID is mandatory. So that is the reason I used ID to generate hash code. So ID is always mandatory. That is the mandatory field for that Java object. So always you can take the mandatory field and use that for a hashing or generating some hash code or something for, you can always use that. Next one. What is that? Now, this you have seen. See, now what happened? If I want to rather downcasting to object, what I will do, if I make it string, right, and make it string, what will happen? See, class cast exception, right? So what happening here? This object list, this object list is holding what? This object list is holding object as well as you know string because no generic is implemented. So in simple word, your collection can hold any type of object. No, for example, I will do one more here. I'll just add my age also there. I'll just add up my age. Yeah, right. So it's an integer I'm adding to that list. See what will happen. Class cast exception, right? Integer. It is showing integer cannot be cast to java.lang.string. We're using string. In this case, what you have to do? In this case, you can't do anything, right? If you, it is possible. A person can add, when we are programming a lot, in different file, that particular collection is used in different steps. A person can by mistake add a string object to it or something else to it. So to avoid this, in old days, what happened? Let's say my list is having multiple object, string and employee object. What I can do, I can go here, I can make it object, right? Then I can make it object, downcast, right? Done. Now what I will do, I will check if I have already told you. Let's see if object instance of if object instance of when you take the help of editor, sometimes this happens. If object is instance of type, I will say employee, right? I'll say employee. If object is instance of employee, then only retrieve and print. Else don't print. Right? I'm telling this now to the compiler. I will run it. Only employee. See, we ignored all other string and we ignored, let's say, I'll uncomment this age also. And if I see, I will run it. Only employee printed. Now I will say string. If object is instance of string, see string Satya, string Madhu. If I print integer, 44, right? So it is coming string because I've written it string here. So if I type it integer here, it will come integer in line number 25, right? So let's print. So here, now what happened in this particular problem? You have seen in this particular example, you have seen the problem, right? The problem is you have to take care of everything. What is a collection? What is an array? If you talk about array, it is going to hold only integers, right? If your array is defined as integer, it will only hold integer. If his array is defined as float, it will hold only float. So we don't need a collection which will hold multiple objects. Very rare scenario, rare cases where we need that kind of thing. For that kind of thing, you can go with without generic. But if you want always to tell that, okay, my list is going to hold only employee or string. In case of string, let my list is going to hold only string. I don't need anything else my array list should hold. So I can define always generic. And when I define generic, that will be generic. See now what happened? This list is generic, but object list is not generic, right? Object list is same, pretty old. So in object list, I can still add Madhu and I can still add employee. But when I'm using list, they are only able to I have to add string. See, list is not allowed to add integer. And in case of list, it will not allow if I make this employee. It will not allow. It will only allow you to add string. Now I will make this integer object list. See, our object list is holding everything. Now what I'm iterating? I'm again iterating object list. Right? I'm not iterating what? List. Let's see what will happen. And both are referring to the same memory location or reference. It is printing, right? So this part they have not explained in that document. Maybe later they have explained, but not what we saw in the what we read. Till that it was not explained this thing, right? They have explained the other thing. Compilation of the part. I will come to that after this. So see, forget. I will just fetch. I will use the generic word so that It will not say integer, it will not say string, it will not create any confusion for you. So you are getting it, right? So this is how it is, the list iterator, right? Now, if I want my list, object list to hold employee, you know, so now what happened when I save this, when I do this, here itself it will give you compilation error because you cannot assign a generic list which is defined string to an employee or to an object because it is not going to hold the superclass object, right? So list is not going to hold superclass object. List is going to hold only child class, right? Or the same class. Uh, let's say one more example, superclass, child class. I'll explain that, right? Now just understand here it is not going to hold, or I cannot assign a list, a string list into object. That part I will explain about the child class and superclass concept. There is also that concept is that for generic. I'll explain it, so don't worry. Uh, Later we'll explain. Okay. Now you are able to understand this is going to give compilation error during coding. So you need to be very careful. You cannot hold in this way. Now let me comment out this object list, right? And what I will do, I will have only this list now. I'll explain with the list. This list, I'll comment out 44 is, I'll comment out new employee object. Now here, what I will do, I will put it list. If possible, that super class, child class, I will explain it now. Otherwise, I will explain it in coming session. Right? Whatever is going will go slowly. So I have taken the Java doc so that I should not miss any part of the generic. That's why I am going through Java doc. See, here, this is no more required. This checking is no more required instance of. And this directly I can do string. Here I can say string value and I will delete it. The downcast. See what happened here? It is still giving an error. Right? You need to have downcast. That should be string. You record to write the parent class. You can only write string directly. The reason behind that, that your collection is holding only string, right? Because of the generic, and then you can use it directly, right? So this is what it has done here. It has implemented this loop in using this kind of iteration, right? So if you implement it in a different way, you don't need to. I will show you iterator, right? Here you define it as string, right? You define it as string. That means if you define here generic, let's see, as string, right? You define here generic as string, and then what you can do here, you can delete it here. You do not record to cast it anymore because you have already defined the generic type in iterator also. That if this particularly iteration is going to fetch you string value, this there is no other value inside the list, so this iteration is going to only fetch string value, and you can directly print it. If you are going through the iterator approach, or if you are going through the normal for loop without iterator, that I will show you here, then there is no issue. So iterator of index, right? So what you do, you take this list dot size, right? If you are going through this route, then there is directly what you can do, you can print SOP, your value, what you do, list dot get, and then you pass the index, right? Directly we can do here screen saying hello equal to this, right? So this is how you can do. Directly you can assign it get I, and then you can print, let's do something here. Let's likely, because I have assigned the variable, let me use that variable. So directly you can print in this way. Both of them will give the same result. It depends on what kind of for loop you want to use in your basically in your program, right? So see, now if I remove this generic, I remove this generic from list. Below method also you need to list dot get will return you the object, and if you have multiple objects, then you can need to check the instance of, right. So this is how your simple use of generic. This is what the simple use of generic. You can use this for typeset. Generic is always used for typeset, and thread or for thread set we will talk about thread whenever the thread topic will come, but currently we are going on with generic. We will talk about generic. These sessions actually I am these videos I am recording because of few students. Students those are in graduation, and those are in maybe in general computer application graduation, or maybe engineering computer engineering graduation. Last year, some of students they approached me about the Java they're using their uh, you know from during their semester. I explained them, and they said me if I create a video and upload to YouTube, it will help them, right? And it not only it will help many people, those are really interested to learn Java, they can go through it. And if you really want to have you have some doubt and you want to have one-to-one session to clarify that doubt, I will be able to clarify you all the doubts, right? So you can always message me, mail me, or you can always message me on LinkedIn, mail me on my mail ID, or you can always put your comments on the comment section. I will definitely reply you, and we can have always live one-to-one session. Here, this is what I explained. This is how they have explained it. I've given you the example, generic and subtyping, so to how it works. So there is more to it. In generic, you have something called wildcards. I will show you like how you can use that question mark. See here, at least this extends say. This is also there is one part of generic. I'll explain you how it works. There are child class and parent class defined how you can make it work. We will discuss about that as well. What else is there in generic? Just let me go through what else is there in generic methods. See, this is called generic method. Collection C. C dot add, object O equal to A, C dot add, O, compile time error. So whenever you're defining generic in the method, right? So how it works and all this will explain, I'll explain. So I think we need one more session to finish generic today. Uh, I will end this session here. Maybe some more theory I will explain, and then I will end this session here. I'll explain a bit of more theory. Generic is itself is a very beautiful topic. If you know how to use generic in your classes, you will always do better and best in your coding, right? See, here it is written in T. I was giving one example, right? I have already done. I have explained this in my this whatever Git code I had or I have. I have explained it last year to few students, computer application students, and engineering student, and those who asked me to have your those who asked me to have video so that they can learn it. See, here if you see, I have used this T, and this T type array. Here I have used class T, right? If you see these all, this is generic template. See Qt. What is the type of this Q? T. Whatever type of T is going to Q. Anyone can tell me. I will explain all this, but I'm just asking. Anyway, let me tell you, because this session is only me and it is a only my session. No one else is in this particular session. So let me explain it. Class T T. See, this is some creating an external queue. Already you have a queue implementation in Java, but while training these people on data structure, how they can create one external queue, which is uh, similar to the existing queue. So when I was telling them, so I created this in a generic queue. For this also, I will have a main method. I will explain you how that T works. It's a very interesting, this programming language. They are very interesting if you learn it and if you do it. Where I have created it. Do the main method is here in this below. Yeah, in the same class I have the main method. See what I'm trying to do in this main method. Just listen it anyway. I will explain this practical theory. This theory learn it today. I will explain this practical tomorrow. I will write similar kind of queue program tomorrow and to show you. Just learn it today. External queue string queue external queue new string. What I'm doing here? I'm saying string my external queue, whatever queue I'm creating, that queue should hold string object. If I want my queue to hold employee object, I can always write here employee. If I want my queue to hold any more or any other object, it's kind of generic. I want my queue to hold only that object, nothing else than or nothing other than that. Then I can go for this T. See, this T will define it is string, and wherever this T is mentioned, all that places it will be string. That's how it is. So if you are learning it, go through your subject or go through the Java doc or go through the internet and learn what is generic. I will next session I will have the example of this. Along with that, I will tell you the superclass and child class concept of generic. I will also tell you about the question mark about the generic. What is that wildcard, right? So we will have that. So today I will end this session here and we will meet tomorrow or in next session, right? I have stopped my sharing. So thank you everyone. And let's see you all in next session.